Hello and welcome to an episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason on the Historic National Road in Ohio, visiting two places. One of them, I'm at a roadside park, just not too far from Norwich, Ohio. I'll be visiting that town too. Eventually, it's not even 5 miles down the road. But I'm at a roadside park where there's the Historic National Road and Zane Grey Museum, and unfortunately, it's closed. But there are some markers here, plus a classic bridge, and I don't know, just something to get out and stretch your legs about. And yeah, unfortunately, I can't go inside the museum because at the time I'm doing this video, it's April, and the museum is closed November to April. So, but I knew that before coming here, so rest assured. But if you do want to come here, make sure you're here May through October. It's open every day except, I take that back, Monday and Tuesdays are closed, but just check the hours online, and it's no more than $7. I mean, the adults are $7, but yeah, it would have been nice to go here. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I hope somebody can correct me, this is the only National Road related museum in Ohio. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Here is a mile marker, another one of these. I've seen a couple of them as I was driving from Zanesville, like on the side of the road. I guess people like to decorate their houses, their yards with them, but or celebrate their pride on the National Road. Cumberland is 162 miles. Wheeling is 32 miles. Zanesville is 42 miles. What? That can't be right. I just came from Zanesville. Well, this is probably just one of those here just for decoration. It's probably not even accurate, so I don't know. And here's another one of them. I don't know where this was placed. I'm going to do the math, but it says here Cumberland is 289 miles, Wheeling is 159 miles, Columbus is 31 miles, Springfield 12. So I would have to say it was in one of those small towns that I visited. It was probably where that Red Brick Tavern was. But either way, it looks pretty cool. And here's some information about the museum, but actually I'm going to take a look at this real quick. Colonel Ebenezer Zane, Zane's Trace Trail, 1797, put up in 1997. And then that's just general information. Yeah, no drones, no littering. Well, that's outside. Take photographs, personal use, okay, whatever. And there's a parking area. You can sit anywhere you want. There are benches, and there is a marker that talks about that bridge. And this was not on the Historic National Road, but rather on the Zane's Trace. Let me read all about it. This is among the oldest surviving rivet-connected Warren Pony Truss bridges in Ohio, and a good example of a bridge type commonly used in the late 19th and early 20th century. It is typical of the quality of construction by the Mount Vernon Bridge Company in Mount Vernon, which built it in 1909. It was originally erected on Zane's Trace, originally an American Indian trail, over the Salt Creek on East Wheeling Road, about 2.5 miles from here. In 2000, deemed unable to handle heavy equipment traffic and soon to be replaced, it was carefully removed for restoration and then set here for preservation. The wood decking was replaced in 2013 using wood donated by Charlie and Gary Neptune and the Hillcrest Lumber Company. And then here's a marker, but talks about the Mount Vernon Bridge, 1909. That's the original plaque. I can't read, unfortunately, what it says behind that, but I'll briefly walk on the bridge. Very cool. And also at this rest area or roadside area are two markers, both of which I've already read in previous National Road episodes. I'm not going to bother reading them. The one on the left is about mile markers. It says the same text and everything. A lot of cool facts, but if you want to check it out. And then this talks about the Historic National Road as a whole. Now, let me show you where I've traveled so far. I know my shadow's in the way. But yes, this is where I started in Indiana from Ohio. Went through all these towns, went through Columbus, and then I went through Zanesville just now. and now I am right here. So I got about ways to go. I hope to be in Wheeling, West Virginia by the end of the day. So I got plenty of time, but I still want to explore as many towns as I can. So on to Norwich. Now I'm in Norwich, and this is the Ralph Hardesty Stone House. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places, as it says right there, but it is now a nursery. And I know it's going to be a little bright, but I'm going to read it. Built in 1836 for Ralph Hardesty at a cost of $500, the original stone portion of this house measures by 40 by 22 feet. Little is known of Mr. Hardesty except that he was listed in the 1850 census when he was 43 years of age. The two-story house, constructed by local sandstone with a slate roof, features a symmetrical facade with a central doorway. It is the first and only stone house in Norwich. Like most houses, this home has its decorative elements on the front and on the side that visitors will see as they approach. While using stone as the building material for a house was rare in this area, the Hardesty House is an I house, a very popular type of building in the 19th century. An I house has 2 rooms downstairs and 2 rooms upstairs. Some, like this house, have central hallways with a staircase. An I house has only 4 rooms, but it looks larger and offers a wide view from the second floor windows. I houses are found in the Midwest as well as in the Mid-Atlantic states. Look at that antique house right there. Pretty cool. I don't know if it's part of this property or not. So I was talking to one of the workers here, and this actually is no longer a nursery as of 2 years ago, but little by little they've been trying to dismantle this nursery. So the guy that owns the business, he's now into landscaping, but they said I can walk on the property, so I will gladly do that. And the lady did say that there's nobody living in that house. Hey doggy, what's up? But I'm about to see some cool landscaping, I guess. Maybe get a little view of the side of the house. I didn't think anybody was living here, but you just never know. Very nice porch, back porch. Yeah, it says on the door, closed. We are no longer open for retail business, but you are welcome to enjoy the gardens. Well, I will gladly will. Now there's an interesting place on this property, the carriage house. I don't think it's the real thing. It was probably a reconstructed or a replica, but either way, it looks really cool. See, it says carriage house there. And that looks like a relaxation area with a fire pit. This is probably where I'd want to chill too, surrounded by all these trees and landscaping. And like I said, this was a former nursery, but again, they're trying to break away, or so it's an ongoing process. And that's pretty much where they took care of a lot of their plants. Better make sure I don't fall in that hole. And here's the Malta Lodge. But perhaps the most interesting and most tragic thing about this town is this was where the first traffic fatality in Ohio was, no doubt. As he traveled the National Road on August 20th, 1835, the last diary entry by Christopher C. Baldwin, librarian for the American Antiquarian Society in Worcester, Massachusetts, was, start by stage in the Cumberland Road for Zanesville. Baldwin never reached Zanesville or his ultimate destination, which was to investigate prehistoric mounds in southern Ohio on behalf of the Antiquarian Society. On that day, near the site, he was killed in what is considered to be the first traffic fatality recorded in Ohio. While passing a drove of hogs on the road, the horses pulling the stage became unmanageable, and when the driver tried to check their speed on a decline, the stage turned over. Baldwin was riding with the driver and was killed when the stage rolled over on him. Due to the lateness of the season and the distance from his home, his remains were interred in Norwich. And this was put up in 2006 by the Ohio Historical Society. Now somewhere nearby here, there's a marker, like a stone marker around here, but unfortunately I'm not able to find it. But Either way, I mean, it's very interesting historical information. All right, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason in Norwich, Ohio. I'll see you guys in New Concord, home of John Glenn. All right, sign off.